Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world today. Thank you for joining us again. My name is Steve Robinson. I am one of the business development guys at Galarath. I've got my colleague Keith Garland with me again today to go through some the initial, what we're calling the initial configuration of SEER for manufacturing. This is more than just starting a new project. This is starting a new project and then configuring the tool in a way that suits the way that you want it to look. So it's about the inclusion of the changing of fonts, the addition of reports and charts so that they remain available to you every time you start a new estimate and a new project, and setting things like the paths to various items and other configuration issues. So hopefully not going to take too much of your time this morning. So without further ado, Keith, over to you, sir.
Thank you, Steve. Hello, everybody. So today, like Steve explained, we're going to start from a new installation of SEER, or an installation of SEER that you currently use, and you're finding yourself having to reset parameters time after time because you're not saving the configuration and doing some of the standard things which will make your life easier, start to speed up things, make things more consistent, more repeatable, and make your life easier. So I'll just start a new project, starting in the new estimate. So the first thing you notice, we can start selecting here our default pounds, imperial, metric, euros, dollars, whatever you want it to be. So I'm just going to call this setup. It doesn't need a name because I'm not going to save it. My initials, and click on OK. So we have a new project and we look around and we think, oh, I've got to add my charts again. I've got to add my reports again. My screen positions are okay, but I can move them around if I wanted to. I like this font to be bigger. There seems to be a different size. So let's go around and set everything up as we would like it every time we open a new project. So we go into set project parameters, and that's found under the options tab across the top. So it's options, set project parameters, and this dialog box will appear, which you're probably familiar with, and we can start to set this up to open as we like it. On 80% of our jobs that we do, they won't always be the same. Sometimes we'll be working in sterling and sometimes we'll be working in dollars, and we'll have to change that. But most of the time, you'll know that your primary customers are working in US dollars perhaps, so you'll have that as your default, which you can then change occasionally, but knowing 80% of the time it's going to be correct. So first thing we can do, we can set the project outline number, the start number. So I'm going to leave mine at default as 1. I'm happy with that. 2020 is the current economic conditions. Again, I'm happy with that. Monte Carlo will be covered on a separate webinar, but basically this is the number of mathematical iterations that it's going to take for doing the independent or dependent slices of our uncertainty within our inputs to do a Monte Carlo risk analysis. It's deliberately set low so that if you have it turned on, it runs quickly. But in reality, when you're doing Monte Carlo, you want to increase this to 500, 1,000, 5,000, and let it run and do a statistically valid estimate. So leave it at 100 today. So if we're working in the US, we're going to set this to imperial. If we're working in Europe, we're going to set this to metric. I'm based in the UK, so I'm happy with metric. Precision is the number of decimal places. So if you want our quantities to have 2 decimal places, we can do that. Dimensions, we want 2 decimal places, weight 2, and it can be 4. So if you're doing something like a PCB, when you have small components, you may wish to see this as 4 decimal places, because some of the resistors and things are very cheap, and that may be more convenient to you. So just one thing to consider. Click on OK. Custom output categories are kind of a legacy of the past when we used to use custom calculations. That's now been superseded by global and local quantities, so we won't go there today. The machining database should default to the latest. Labor 5 is the latest, and that's how we keep the machining up to date. So just verify that that is set to 5. Within machining, you can let the model use SEER defaults and calculate the number of passes based upon the material type, the depth of cut, etc. Or you can say, well, I want to take more control. I want to see what the SEER number is, and I want to be able to edit that if I want to. If you do, you would check that box. If not, leave it blank. In fabrication, you can estimate by the sheet or by the part. And personally, I like to do it by the part. I only need to concentrate on the size of the component. I don't need to worry about the size of the sheet, the number of parts of the sheet, multiplying the length of cut by the number of parts of the sheet. So personally speaking, I like to have this one checked. Direct labor is going to give us more definition when we insert work elements to put labor in. So it would give you the ability to put the machine and facility rate, the overhead rate, the labor rate of the man, number of operators, etc. So that would be turned on if you had those two checked. I'm going to leave mine off for my configuration. Again, inflation tables. Now, these are US-centric inflation tables. The model derives from America, but you can obviously create your own. So if you have contractual inflation rates which you need to apply, you can build and create your own inflation tables if that is necessary. So I'm just going to check I have the latest one that is available. And again, you can create your own, copy, edit, and rename existing inflation tables. The currency I wish to work in is my native currency. I'm going to work in the British pounds. The exchange rate comes in, that's held. You can edit that if you wish to and keep it current. In today's crazy world that we're living in at the moment, this may alter dramatically over time, but otherwise let the model defaults to what it has. That's held in one of the INI files if you wish to edit it. We then step into the type of learning we have. So we have turning learning on or off, and then we have the choice of computing T1 based on slope, which is my personal preference. That's going to calculate your T100, T1000, and come up the slope, and it will then give you a T1 based on the percentage of the learning. And then if you alter the percentage of that curve, T1 will go up and down accordingly, and T1000 will remain constant. Default sloping quantity is the original method within SEER MFG, legacy of the past, and that calculates the T100, 1000, comes back up the slope, calculates your T1 the same, but this time if you change the slope of the curve, it will, however, lock T1, and the T1000, T100 will go up and down, which I don't recommend. And then finally, you can work on the Crawford or the Wright cumulative average or unit learning curves, whichever your preference is. And there's obviously a lot on the internet to divide one or the other. One will give you slightly more time, which I think is the unit. And when you're happy with that, click on OK. So we've set the background for our model. Now we're going to look at what we want to look at here. So under the view option, we can come here and we can do larger text. We're increasing the size here by checking the larger text. We can have smaller text. We can change the font. I want to come to this one. I want to increase that one. So it's the same size. That looks about right. I'm happy with that. And then I need to look at my reports and charts. I don't have any selected, and I'm forever having to go in here and make things different. So what we can do, we can go to the reports tab and we can select the reports dialog. This will appear. Another way of doing that would have been to right click on one of these tabs, choose available reports, and this will come in. So from here, we have the available reports that we'll have a look at. I like the production lot report. I like the operation details report. I like the aero detailed report, especially when I'm using the aero work elements, very informative. Inputs versus reference, knowledge bases. So there's a lot there you may wish to work through. Obviously, if you're working on PCBs, you can have the detailed report open as well. multi-currency summaries if you're working in multiple currencies, but I think I'll leave it at that. Click on OK, and you'll notice across here we have all of my reports that I'm happy with, the ones I like to look at on a regular basis. And then finally, we're going to look at the quick estimate. Now, the quick estimate is our interactive report where you can set references. You can set up to 5 references in SEER for manufacturing, and you can control what we look at. So if we right click in this white area here and do quick estimate options, this dialog box will allow us to set up the things we wish to look at. Now, I like the average production unit cost. I like material. At the bottom, we can decide whether we want to work in hours or minutes. So depending upon the size of the job, if it's hundreds of minutes, I would turn these off and I would work in hours. So it's going to give me my reports in hours at the bottom. I find also that start weight, finish weight is quite useful, particularly in machining. You can just keep an eye on you've not machined everything away, different things such as that. You can put total costs in, total material cost, total production cost, tooling cost, etc. So if I just check this one here, click on OK, we've amended this. I'm happy with it. I try to keep this quite small so that I can focus on the costs that I'm interested in. So over here, I'll do it this way. We can right click, choose available charts, and again we can look at what we want to have. So I like the cost risk report. We can see the size of the S-curve, the amount of uncertainty that we have on our estimate. I like the work element contribution and the operational analysis reports. These are new in the latest release of SEER for manufacturing and well worth a look. Production lots. Yes, I could put that one on. Cost allocation and OK. And we will see again, these are tabulated across the bottom. Just a reminder, all the screens can be resized, moved around, put back into position. Under view, you may have large WBSs. You could come along here and you can have a full length view if you wish to show the full configuration. I tend to use the 4-pane setup here. Again, we can change the font type if you have a particular font or you want a background color to reflect your favorite soccer team, you can do so. Personally, black and white's fine for me, or blue and white in this case, and okay. Under File, we can come here, we can look at ribbon options, and we can change the color of the background here. So we can look at Office, we can look at, I don't know, a PowerPoint color scheme, click on OK, and it goes red. So that's an option you can have if you have a preference for what you're looking at and so on. Again, we can adjust the ribbon, we can add things in here, make sure it's in the format that we're comfortable with. Right, so the key to this now is saving it. So under Advanced, we have under Options, we have Save Configuration. Now, saving the configuration, simple click, has captured all that we've done. The other thing, while it's in this one, we could consider is setting the paths. Now, with a standard installation like mine is on my local laptop, everything is positioned on the C drive. Now, for yourselves, you may be working collectively on different desktops, and you may wish to share your scenarios, your projects, your program, not your program files, but maybe your knowledge bases or inflation tables to a central location on the server where you could then all learn and use and utilize each other's things that you've created, saved. So if we have a domain expert in fabrication, for example, he may be saving knowledge bases. We have a machining expert saving machining knowledge bases. But the beauty of it is if they're all shared in a local position on the network, you're all going to benefit from their knowledge. You've captured their knowledge within the knowledge base. He's gone on holiday, and you're now able to use the knowledge bases that he's created for that difficult machine component, for that fabricated cleat, stringer, rib, whatever it is, and you can use his knowledge that he's captured and saved in knowledge bases, and you're all pointing to it on the directory and able to use that together. So by setting the paths, you can benefit from sharing across the enterprise. So once that's saved again, simply click on Save Configuration, and we're good to go. So I'm now going to just check that it's worked. So we're going to do a new estimate, set project parameters, no. So you notice this is British pounds, this is test 2, and me again, and metric, and OK. And you'll see now our quick estimate options are here, our detailed analysis are all set here, our reports and charts are in the right place, the font's the right size, I'm comfortable with everything here. If I go to set project parameters, my defaults are set, and I'm ready to go. So I don't have to worry about all these things. And that's basically all there is to setting up your installation of SEER for manufacturing, and ensuring that every time you're opening a new project and start a new project, you're not having to go and load the quick estimate options. You're not having to go and find the reports and charts that you're comfortable with, the screen positions, the font size you're comfortable with, and all you need to do is focus on the estimating process. Thank you for your time. I'll just hand you back to Steve to close.
Thank you, Keith. Nice, quick, and nice and brief, but massively important, so that you are saving time and effort as you continue along through your use of SEER for manufacturing. As we've always said on these calls, my details, Keith's details are on the screen. If you've got any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. There will be more detailed sessions coming in the near future, covering other aspects of SEER for manufacturing and other elements of the SEER tool suite. So until the next one, stay safe and well out there, everybody, and we will speak to you soon.
Thank you, Steve.